Welcome back to my channel, Mostly Paper Crafts. Today I am so excited to share the February My Monthly Hero Kit with you and all the stuff that I make with it. So here it is. This is the February My Monthly Hero Kit. We got a water flow brush, a little thank you for your order, and an advertisement about some upcoming products. Let's take a look at the stamp set. There's a lot going on here. We have all of these dreamy things. There's a door out to the clouds, a frame leading to some butterflies, an umbrella, a moon with a bow, a staircase, an eye, a window to the stars, a shower of the night sky, a melting clock. We've got a hat, some fish, some more stars over here, an apple, a butterfly, a random assortment of images for sure. And then a lot of really interesting sentiments. We have in dreams, we're planting seeds of our future. Dream big, have a beautiful day. Live your dreams. Impossible is just an opinion. Beautiful things await you. You're magical. Make your dreams a reality. And I'm not crazy. My reality is just different from yours, from Alice in Wonderland. So tons of fun stuff here. There are coordinating dies for everything. So we've got those. Those will just need cut apart. And then we also have a watercolor palette from Daniel Smith. This will be fun. And some black watercolor paper. All right, so that is the contents of the kit. I did also order one add-on. These are the Dream Accessories Fancy Dies, and I really like this whale. That's the reason that I ordered this whole set, although I think I'll get some use out of these other ones. I have some really fun ideas with this little whale. For subscribers, we also get a discount on a select number of products from the Hero Art store. And this is a stamp set that I've had my eye on since it came out. And I thought this would be the perfect time to get it because it goes along so well with some of the other stamps, the images and the sentiments. So we've got these really cool sea creatures that have like a galaxy background. They look like they're dotted with stars, and just some fun sentiments that I really think are going to go well with this add-on and the stamp set that's included in the set. So that's it for the February My Monthly Hero Kit. Now I'm going to make some projects. One of the first things that I do when I get my monthly hero kit is I go through my stash and I try to find some things that will coordinate well with the new products. And usually I'll pull 2 or 3 sets. This is the stack that I pulled for this month. There's just so many different possibilities of ways to mix and match the new products with the old products. Now, I didn't end up using this half, but I did end up using tons of things from all of these sets, which I'll show you as I go through my cards. So fun to incorporate the old with the new. And if I had another few days to work on cards, I could have easily made, 15, 20 more cards because I had so many ideas of how the new products would match with the olds. I ended up making 12 different cards. They're all about the same size this month, but there's a lot of different stuff going on here. I'm really excited to share these with you. My first card features this add-on, and I really do try to always use the add-ons that I purchase with my kits in my projects, but it doesn't always happen. I'm so glad that I got this because I am just obsessed with this whale, and this boat is so neat too. I know I'm going to use it in the future. But the first card I knew I needed to make was a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy inspired card. This is the scene where the bowl of petunias and the whale are falling toward the earth, and the petunias say, "Not again," and the whale's wondering if the ground is going to make friends with it. So this whale comes from the add-on. I used a flower pot and some flower dies from my stash. I used the black watercolor paper that was included in this month's kit, as well as a couple of the watercolors from our little palette here. I use these colors to color in all of my my whale and my flowers and my flower pot. And for the earth, I needed a green. So I have a set of iridescent watercolors here. I cannot even remember where I got this or what brand it is. It doesn't have any markings on it. I think I got this at Tuesday Morning like 5 years ago. But these colors look so beautiful on dark watercolor paper. So I did some splattering to get some stars in the background. And this is mounted on a white card base. And the Live Your Dream sentiment is from this month's sampler as well. So I'm excited to make more cards like this with the whale and the bowl of petunias falling toward the earth, because I have a lot of friends who also love Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I know that they'll get a kick out of this. I've decided that this whale is my favorite part of this whole month's release. And in my next card, another whale. This one was die cut out of white paper and then watercolored using this same palette. And then this is the black watercolor paper. I did stamp the moon with the bow in the background there, and this is a shaker. For my shaker bits, I used some sequins from a previous kit. And then you're going to notice some cloud dies here. These clouds are from the December 2020 kit, and in the new release, there's a cover plate that has some clouds, but I thought, oh, I'll just use these older cloud dies to create my cloudy scene. I thought that worked out really well. And my favorite part about this card is the little guy who is riding on the whale. This little guy is from the April 19 kit. And there he is. He's riding a little gondola, but I just cut out the guy and did a little watercoloring and glued them onto my whale. So fun little shaker card here. I don't believe I stamped anything on the inside of this one. Let Your Dreams Set Sail. This is actually from another My Monthly Hero kit, which I'll pull out in just a second. And then I did use some stickles to put a few little dots here and there. I also did some splattering with my Wink of Stella pen to give it a sparkly look. Now, if I were going to do this card again, I would do something to make this stamp in the background stand out more. Probably would have done it on white paper and watercolored it, and then just put the die cut into the background instead of stamping it directly on there. It's just a little hard to see once it has the acetate window. So this sentiment is from this kit. This was June of 2020, and this also has a whale and a sailboat and some other elements that I think really mix and match really well with this new kit. These fancy dies also included this pirate ship, which I really liked, and I created a card using that die cut along with the cloud that was in this same set, and then the cloud that was in that other My Monthly Hero kit that I used on this card. So the background is actually a bold print. I used a brayer and printing ink because I kept trying to print it and I couldn't get a good impression, and I never ended up getting the impression that I would have liked. I bought this a few years ago, and I have not purchased another stamp like that just because I have not personally been able to get good results. So if you have any ideas for me on getting better results with a stamp that has so much rubber and there's like barely any cutout for the image, please let me know in the comments below, because I can't seem to get it right. But I was still pretty happy with how that background had turned out. I layered my ship, I think 6 times. There's quite a bit of dimension to that. Single layers for my clouds here. And then I did use a Hero Arts lacquer pen to go back over the stars that have the circles around the outside. That's how I decided where to put these. And I did little lacquer drops, which give this some added interest. I stamped You're Magical from the main kit, and this card is interesting. It doesn't look like much that I've done in the past, but I really like the black and white, and you're going to see I did a couple more cards in a black and white theme this month. Okay, moving away from those fancy dies, which I really liked, and getting into more of the images from this month's kit. We have In Dreams, We're Planting Seeds for Our Future. And I've taken the stamp with the moon and the waterfall, and I've extended it just using a micron pen. I used the little cluster of stars stamp that was in the set, and then you're also going to see some interesting little planets, some other fun stuff here. I'll show you what that came from in just a moment. I did go back with a glow-in-the-dark lacquer pen. This is from a previous kit, and I put that all over the stars and planets and the moon, so these elements do glow in the dark. And then we also have this blue holographic paper on the sides. It's actually sticker paper, and again, from a previous kit. So I pulled in a lot of things from other kits for my project. For those of you who have subscribed for a while, did you recognize this little cluster of the galaxy? It's actually from this kit, which was March of last year, and it's this little cluster. So this was the literary tree of knowledge set, and there were a few things that our little readers here could have been thinking about. We had science and fantasy, and then this one is astronomy. So I thought that worked really well in there. So I repeated my little star cluster a few times, and then I popped that one in from this older set, and I created a really neat waterfall of galaxy for this card, and nothing on the inside. Using the same sentiment in Dreams We're Planting Seeds for a Future, I thought that would make a nice little dreamy card with the bed and the window from this month's kit. The bed is from this older set. This came out a while ago. It's called Bedroom Monsters, and I just thought that was perfect to have a bed with a dreamy scene. I chose not to do any coloring on this because I think it would be fun to send this with a small pack of colored pencils to someone and let them color it in themselves. So just a little idea for a gift. Maybe I would make a couple more cards like this so that they have 3 or 4 cards to color along with a set of colored pencils. Fun little activity, and then they can choose who to send these out to. My next card features a bunch of butterflies and moths. So this card is stamped out on craft cardstock, except for my frame with the butterflies here, which is one of the larger images from this month's kit. And what I did is I stamped this onto white, and I found one of my alcohol markers that just happens to match the craft perfectly. After I colored this with my alcohol markers, I did use the clear lacquer pen to give the frame some dimension, and then my Wink of Stella pen to add some sparkle to my butterflies. Now, the sentiment "Have a Beautiful Day" is from this kit as well, but there are a lot of butterflies in the background. The little tiny one was included in the kit, but the other ones came from this set, which was September of 2019. This is one of the first kits that I ordered. And there was a moth and a butterfly, and the other butterfly comes from the December 2019 kit, and it was the butterfly that was right here. So I did some tone-on-tone stamping with the butterflies from these other sets. I used Lawn Fawn Crunchy Leaf ink to do those, and I just scattered them around the background to create sort of a pattern paper. So lots of butterflies and moths here. And then my sentiment is heat embossed. So this card has some interesting layers and dimension to it. And it's not too weird. Some of these cards are a little weird. That was the intent of the kit, I think. But this one, it's just butterflies. So nothing too crazy here. So we'll get into a card that's a little weirder next. For this card, I used the door that had the sky in the background, but I just cut it out to make a hole, and then I used my ruler to create some molding along the floor here, and then when you open it up, we have a ton of images. Now this is actually just one stamp. This is the Hero Arts from the Vault bold print, and I knew I had to have this when I saw it because it's just so fun, and I have some of these older stamps, so it's very nostalgic, and I haven't found a lot of use for it, honestly. I love it, but I'm like, when am I going to use this? So I thought it would be really interesting if you look through the door and you see all of these random things, and then when you open it up, you can see even more of that print. Now, I could have colored this. I chose not to. It was an issue of time more than anything else, but I think it's nice to do black and white cards sometimes. Maybe this card could be sent off with the colored pencils and this one, and someone else can take the time to color it. But on the inside, you'll see the Dream Big sentiment from this month's kit and a bunch of the elements from this month's kit. I just sort of clustered them around here. The key is from the Curiosity set that I showed you a moment ago. But most of this stuff is from the current kit. Lots of images here. Would be fun to color. I cannot imagine taking the time to color something like this today, but maybe in the summer when things slow down. My next card also uses this door stamp, and this didn't turn out exactly like I had thought it would, and it's something I may redo in the future, but we got this interactive die a while back. I'll show you the kit in a moment, and so I made it into a shaker. When you open the front door, you see the other door with the clouds, and then I put my sentiment down there at the bottom. So when you first get this card and you open it up, you can't really see what the sentiment says, so you gotta shake it around to be able to see that. My little bits in here are from previous kits, and again, I chose not to color the background, although I think if I did this card again, I would add color. I really think it needs one more layer. So I have a door opening this way. I think I would like to do another stamp where the door opens this way, and I think it might be really cool if I put a doorknob on this part so that when you open this, there's a doorknob there and you pull that open, revealing another scene inside. That's what I would do if I were redoing this card in the future, and I don't think I would make it a shaker at that point, but if it were, the shaker would be underneath this cloudy door that would open to the right. Just something I'm thinking about. The card base here is on holographic paper. I really like this paper. I bought it from Joann's. I think it was $5 for 20 sheets or something like that, but it's been really fun to use on my card making. This is just a little embellishment from my stash. I think it makes a cute little handle there, and I did not choose to stamp anything on the inside of this. My next card reminded me how much I do not like coloring with colored pencils. It is my least preferred medium, which I think means I need more practice with it, but it's really just not my favorite. I love watercolor colored pencils, but just the regular ones, I never get it to look the way that I want. And I practice and I try, and maybe I need better colored pencils, I don't know. But this is a fun card because it's the same whether you look at it this way or this way. So what I did here is I stamped that doorway with the stairs, and then I turned it over and I stamped it again on the bottom. I used my Misty to get Impossible is Just an Opinion in the same location. So I just stamped and then rotated and stamped, and I think that turned out really cool. And then within the door frame, you're seeing all of these different clocks. So the melting clock was part of this month's kit, but there are a few other clocks as well that are from previous sets. The grandfather clock is part of the November 2019 kit, so you can see that here. And I actually had meant to show you this a moment ago. This is the die that I used to create my door for this shaker card, and what I did is I just cut around the outside so that I didn't have the outside of the house, because it's decorated for the holidays and that didn't really fit my theme, but I could have used more of this background here on that front panel. That's where that came from. Here is the grandfather clock. The other clocks, we've got one in this Curiosity set. It's the pocket watch right here. And then back to our Bedroom Monster set, there was another clock there. So I just did some easy masking so that I could stamp my images right into those doorways. And I did some coloring with colored pencil. Impossible is Just an Opinion. And this card is cute either direction. My next card features images only from this month's kit. I'm not crazy, my reality is different from yours, Alice in Wonderland, and I stamped that off kilter a little bit so it's not straight across. And then I just used the different images from the kit to surround that, and I really wasn't in the mood to color, as you can tell, but what I did is I used some different mediums to add some texture and shine to this. The eyeball is a lacquer pen. There is a lacquer pen with some sparkle Sparkle Clear lacquer pen on my bow for my moon. I did use some Stardust stickles for the apples. I used my Wink of Stella pen for all of the fish, and then I used my glow-in-the-dark lacquer pen for my stars there. So if I tilt this around, and in real life you can see it a lot better, there's some different shades and sparkles and layers of dimension here for this card. I really like it on that black frame. I feel like that really finishes it off well. Not too much going on here. So it's relatively simple, but I was really happy with how this card turned out. My next card also only features things from this month's kit. I stamped, colored, and cut out my window frame 4 times. I didn't use the coordinating die because I didn't want there to be any border on that. I did color using my alcohol markers, and then I went back over and I added some of the lacquer pen to give my star some dimension. And if you touch this, it's kind of fun because there's all these little bumps on it. And the beautiful things await you is part of this month's kit as well. And this is a great all occasion card. I feel like some of these cards, well, I don't really know when I'm going to send this, but hopefully at some point I will figure out a time and a place for this and it'll have the perfect recipient. But beautiful things await you. There's a lot of different occasions that I could send this off for. Now, I only have one more card to share with you, and I'm really excited about this one. I tend to try to stick to as many of the Hero Arts products as possible as I work through my kit and through this little personal challenge, but I just couldn't help myself here. So this sentiment is from the kit, but all of these other sentiments are actually from a couple of other sets that I really love the story of Alice in Wonderland, so I actually have a lot of Alice in Wonderland products from other companies. So these expressions came from Creative Expressions and from Echo Park, and I didn't use any of the images from here, just this sentiment and then a few sentiments from this set, and then I stuck with images from Hero Arts. So normally I wouldn't have used these sentiments from other sets, but I had this vision in my mind of just a lot of Alice in Wonderland themed things all together on a card, and I'll talk about those elements in a moment. I just really like this holographic paper border on this. I think that it gives it some visual interest, as well as my Wink of Stella pen that I used to color in some of these images. So let's see if you recognize any of these images from previous sets. My white rabbit is from Woodland Tea Party, and I use this set to get all of the little tea party elements as well. So the teapot, teacup, some of the little cookies, and there's oh yes, the little sugar bowl. All of those things made their appearance here, as well as a larger teapot from Tea Time. This is an older set as well. So I used the larger teapot, teacup, a couple of the cookies. I not only love Alice in Wonderland, but I love tea and tea party, so I have a ton of tea themed sets and I really like to pull them out any chance I get. This set also has a bottle that says drink me, which is absolutely perfect for this, so that made an appearance here as well. You'll also notice the pocket watch from the Curiosity set. I used this on the Impossible card as well, so we saw that here. And just a really fun card that incorporates a lot of different stuff. I put Live Your Dreams on the inside. This is another sentiment from this month's kit. And wow, yeah, 12 projects this month, and they are all so different. I think different is a good word for them, but I was able to get creative, to say the least. Lots of fun with this month's kit. I'm just gonna show you each card one more time while I'm wrapping up here. So much fun to be creative and go through my stash and use things that I haven't used in a while or some things that I've never used at all. I have a lot of ideas for future cards that I want to make, including a bunch that incorporate this whale and the hitchhiker's theme. I really want to make some more cards that I can put together in a little set and send off with a set of colored pencils so that they can be colored. I'm so excited when I can use older products that I've never used before. Like this one incorporated this blue sticker paper This was part of an ocean themed set last summer or maybe the summer before, and I hadn't used even a tiny little bit of it. So it makes me happy to get that stuff out and put it to good use. I was really happy that my glow-in-the-dark lacquer pen still had some juice to it. I was afraid that it may not glow in the dark anymore because some of that pigment had settled. I got my colored pencils out, even though it's not my favorite medium, and I guess I just need more practice someday. It's probably going to be a while before I try again. I love coloring with markers and watercolors, so it's hard for me to justify doing colored pencil if it's something I don't really like that much. I think this is one of my favorite cards from this month's challenge. I really like the way that the elements all come together here. I just don't know when I'll send it. I absolutely love these die cuts. I have a lot more ideas for this ship and for my whale. I made 2 shaker cards this month. I spent a lot of time on these cards. We've got beautiful things await you. I love the bumpy texture on this. And finally, our butterfly card. Have a beautiful day. Oh, no, there's one more. The Alice in Wonderland card. This might be my second favorite. I have some other friends who love Alice in Wonderland too, so I'm sure I can find someone who will really appreciate this card. I hope that you enjoyed my projects today and they have inspired you to make some dreamy, surreal, interesting projects. It's so fun to take the time to be creative, and I hope that you'll be able to carve out some of that time for yourself today. Go make something beautiful.